Welcome back to another JIVij podcast episode. My name is JERiCK, and today we have two guests. New guests.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
We got Rafi and Sierra.
Hi.
Do you guys want to introduce yourself real quick on like what?
I mean, I feel like some of your subscribers might already know me.
Yeah, I mean, Rafi has been in a lot
He's
of
a legend.
the older podcasts, so he's not a new guest, but new on the new podcast.
Me and my boy got some history, you know what I'm saying? We've been friends for a long time. So, but yeah, my name is Rafi. I like to be happy and funny all the time.
That's true.
I may or may not dance, may or may not DJ, may or may not be an artist. I don't know.
You are an artist. I'm Sierra, and I am a dancer and choreographer in Reno. I feel like I'm a lot of things. I also have a jewelry business, and
Divine Lucidity.
I have a
bling
lot
right
of
here.
I have a lot of wouldn't even call them hobbies. I have like a lot of
Passions.
passions.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I have a lot of passions, do a lot of stuff, but mostly dance. Dance is my number one passion that I hustle at. So
Cool. Well, yeah, these are one of the two favorite people I have right now. So
Aw.
I love these guys so much.
Aw,
So I'm just glad that you guys finally made it to the podcast.
Thank you. I was surprised to get the invitation this early.
Yeah,
I was like,
Rafi's been giving me crap.
I would like to say I worked my way up to JERiCK. I wasn't like a default friend. Like he was already friends with everybody,
Yeah.
and I was just I worked my way up to I earned my spot on the podcast.
That's true. I'm not
Fair
gonna,
and
I'm
square.
not even
Fair and
gonna-
square.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
You're
push
just
back.
classic as history,
Yeah.
But yeah, we usually start the podcast with weekly interests or anything that's like you're into right now. So you want to start, Raf, on what your interest is this week?
I'm gonna say dance.
Okay.
I haven't, ever. Oh, is it okay to make the announcement? I don't know. I just kind of went in that.
Of course, it's go ahead.
You can say
Tell the
whatever you
people
want.
I
whatever.
recently found out that I would be performing for Dog Days of Summer. So
Hey. When
I
is
guess-
that? Just so people know.
August
right now.
17th at the Pioneer Center. It's a free event. Our company will be performing Entity Movement and a bunch of other companies. Raf is honorary Entity Movement, so he's going to be performing with us. I don't know if you wanted to make the announcement because he's a total legend, and I had to sell a kidney to get him to do this
oh my
performance.
god.
So I'll be,
It feels right this time. If I'm being honest, it feels right to join my friend's entity. I've kind of been like an honorary member, but this, for the first time, if like right now feels like the right time to join them and perform with them. So what an honor. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. So your weekly interest is dance?
Well, right now, I'm just, ever since I found out about that, I'm in like movement mode. I'm like, ooh, what? You know what I mean? Like, because I haven't choreographed and, I don't teach anymore. I take my friends' classes, you know what I mean, to kind of stay sharp. So it's kind of nice because I feel like I'm creating for me, and I haven't felt like that in a long time. So that's a feeling that I haven't had in a long time, if I'm being honest.
Well, I'm glad you're dancing. I mean, performing again. You've been dancing for like, a long time.
That's kind of how everyone knows me as,
Yeah.
is through dance. So,
So we met.
right.
But I know you've been busy with like life and stuff,
Yeah.
and for a while you weren't really performing.
Yeah.
And I know you said like, oh, sometimes I miss it, but then like you gotta feel it. But like I'm glad that now is that time.
It feels right. It feels
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Weekly interest. I feel like dance is always just on the table for me. And I can't remember a week where that wasn't like a vacation where I wasn't trying to hustle with dance, but I don't know, I've really prioritized like this week through this chaotic schedule that I have, prioritizing like self-care. And like for me, self-care is like different. It's different every single day. Like sometimes it's like actually doing a face mask or like things like that, but sometimes it's just like chilling. Like chilling is self-care. Chilling with the phone on do not disturb or off, or just trying to be present. I think, yeah, so just trying to preserve, because it's like you hustle so much, but if you don't take care of, yourself, the hustle will have an expiration date. So, and I realize that.
That's
I
awesome.
realize that. I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying to prioritize self-care. It's my interest this
I
week.
think you're awesome at
Nice.
it. I think you're awesome.
That's
at
pretty
it.
good.
You're doing great.
Honestly, I feel like you're so busy that
Yeah.
you really need to prioritize that too.
Yeah.
Just
It's
because
tough being
Yeah.
a superstar. You know?
Well, you would know, and so would you.
you can easily get burnt out if you just keep doing
Yes.
the same old
Yeah, you
shit
gotta,
all the time.
refill your cup, and it's hard for me to not be like reachable.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes get stressed out about not having.
Feels
my
like we
phone
got
on, but
feels like we got Kehlani on the podcast. The queen.
I don't need that much hype right now. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm in a good mindset to do all this stuff, because doing a lot right now.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I need to start doing that too. Turning off my phone.
It's really hard. It's
What am-
harder than it sounds, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah.
I've been noticing it a lot lately too. Like I just like get on Instagram for like no reason.
No reason.
Just because.
It just becomes so
Yeah.
automatic. Yeah. I
Like
feel you.
every for feels like every like 20 minutes like I have to just like press it. And I notice it too. Like I guess it's good to like
be aware.
Yeah.
but then I'm still doing it. Maybe I just need to like turn it off or delete the app.
I moved my Instagram app like to the very last page of my phone.
I have too. Like I
And then I
made it-
still go to it.
yeah, exactly. Like I already even
But
though
it was
if I
a
have to
start.
even if I have to like scroll like 3 times
I'm
to
just
the
like,
very end.
and then
of
I
it.
get used to scrolling 3
Yeah.
times. But I was thinking the other day too about like how back, MySpace days or whatever, like you have to actually sign off. Now there's no like, I
Yeah.
never
You're
sign
just
out of
constantly
Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Logged in, yeah.
And that's a good way to like
That's
not,
how they get you.
yeah, it's a good way to like not be on it so much, like actually sign out. Because then when you go to that
because it makes it more difficult too.
page, you're like, I don't want to type this right now.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
if it just pops up with the next thing.
Yeah.
It's just very addicting.
that might be smart.
Yeah. I will take that advice too.
Instead of
I
deleting
need
the
to
app
do
too,
that.
because I thought about it, but I'm like, I still need to post stuff.
I think I need to
Yeah.
turn my brain off in a sense of like, I guess not trying to look at the next funny video, because I feel like it's just become so automatic. Oh, what's the next funny shit on Instagram? Like,
yeah,
so I think I need to change that and turn that part off. Maybe that'll help me hop off and actually breathe instead of being on Instagram all day.
yeah.
Self-care.
Yeah.
But for me, I've been so nostalgic lately. I don't know if you guys know this. I used to be like a big like gamer nerd back in the
I
day.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
We've known each other forever.
I mean, not
I don't know if Raph knew it. So I used to play like World of Warcraft.
Oh, like the real
yeah, like
deal.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like real. That's like
Like you used to.
Yeah,
used to,
like
okay.
I had such an addiction to it
Wow.
that me and my girlfriend used to like fight over. Like,
Oh wow! I
just
never knew
because I would play and then like if I die in the game, like I'll get like so frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
and then she would talk to me on the phone. She'd be like, "I just want to talk to you." I'd be like, "I don't want to fucking talk right now."
You're one of those.
yeah.
Dang.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I was one of those.
I can't like picture that. That's so crazy. That
Yeah,
you said
JERiCK, you're so like I think I met you in a different version of
For sure. Yeah,
yourself.
for sure. You have
And
met
that's
me
why I
in a
was
different-
gravitated towards you, because I was gravitated towards you for like your, I don't know, your just like mentality and your, I don't even know. Like I just feel like I would not be gravitated towards that
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of
definitely
you. So
not.
that's why I didn't know. But
Yeah, it's
crazy.
for the last. I would say for maybe the last maybe 8 years. That's
Yeah.
like has changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, I used to be like a big gamer. Just play video games all the time. Never went out.
Wow.
Yeah, I was that. So like lately, I just for some reason my YouTube algorithm just started sending me all this like World of Warcraft videos.
Trying to get you back.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, just like watching all these like gameplays. Like, man, I just feeling nostalgic right now. Just kind of
Trying-
thinking back in the day that I had so much fun playing it with my friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've been into lately. I'm just like, man, watching all these videos makes me want to play again. But I was like,
Well,
I
but
really
now that you
shouldn't.
have the, I don't know, maybe the self control, I think of a spiritual person, maybe you could. But then it's easy to fall back into it.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
maybe
it could be part of
set
like
some boundaries.
self care, maybe to like
Yeah.
entertain myself in that way. Like either like I watch Netflix or playing video games. Like I
Right.
don't really play video games anymore. I don't know. Maybe for like the last 5 years, I just stopped. Like all of a sudden, I just not interested in video games anymore.
Well, that's probably for the best.
But yeah.
But see how you feel. Play.
We have less time for distractions when we get older, dude. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, the last few times I've touched my PlayStation, it was to watch like YouTube. It wasn't even to like play
Yeah.
a game anymore. So,
But then I'm watching all these streamers right now too. I'm just like, damn.
oh, dude, they're making big.
Big.
I know that's
Yeah.
the other aspect of it that is
Yeah.
why it would be addicting.
Because like if I do play, like that, I probably would
Dang.
become something like that.
I'm
Like I
funny
don't
as
think I would
fuck.
just like play to play. I would probably like go for
Yeah.
you know
a lot
like
of money in that.
yeah. Because
That-
like those guys get paid crazy
Dude.
money. Like
How
you know how like our parents told us like don't play video games, nothing's
Yeah.
ever gonna
No,
happen to
dude.
that. But all these like gamers right now that
Yeah.
are
Even if you're
Yeah.
not like necessarily a pro, like if you're just a good personality, you blow up on YouTube, dude. So
yeah.
yeah. Maybe I should try. What's that?
Actually, I think Raph would actually be a really good streamer.
I'd be
you.
a good streamer, but I can't play video games for shit.
People stream for different reasons. Like
true.
literally, like a lot of the streamers don't even play. Like
I
the
know,
big ones don't
I've like
play
seen
games.
them like they're so entertaining, but
Yeah.
like
You just need someone to like film your life because that would be the stream. Actually,
y'all
that's
don't-
Yeah.
You don't want the life. I promise.
But you know what I'm saying.
I know what
like,
you're saying. Though.
Yeah.
I was never a gamer. I never even had a console. I only had a Game Boy Color.
Hey,
If you know what
that's
that
old
is,
school
don't
right
point.
there. That's old school.
Yeah, I had a Game Boy Color. That's all I ever. Had.
I've seen Sierra get down in like Mario Kart and Smash. You know what I mean? Like the classics.
down
casual
Mario.
gamer.
The classics.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, those are the games I like. I've never played like the game where you play with other people, but I could see how that could get addicting because like you're actually playing with somebody. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it
versus-
feels like it's because when I use the game, it feels like we're hanging out because we're on the, you
That's
know,
what
like we
people
have like
say,
our
right?
With
like
the headsets.
headphones,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like we're
Yeah.
actually like talking, even though we're not physically
right.
in the same room, but
Yeah.
it feels like you're kind of doing the same.
Have you guys
activity.
played like VR?
No.
I've never
No.
even put a VR headset on.
I mean, I've
I mean, I've
Tried it,
tried
yeah.
it, but
it's not
yeah,
the same.
I don't see myself like enjoying it to the point where I'm like doing it all the time. Like it's cool when like you go to a bar and they have like VR, put it on for a few
Yeah.
minutes, that type of shit. You
I
know?
don't think
Yeah.
it's there yet. Like when it comes to VR, like the technology is just not.
He wants
like it.
like the full on.
Yeah, the full-on experience, but it's not there yet. It's still
Yeah.
very, you know,
Yeah.
VR.
JERiCK wants to feel the skydive when you see it.
Like the Ready Player One, where you're just like walking around
Oh,
like
yeah.
a treadmill.
Yeah, I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah.
For sure.
But anyways, enough with video games. Let's go back to dance.
That's a topic I could talk about because I don't play video games.
Yeah, this is this week's topic is about dance and I guess following your passion and turning it into a career. Yeah, which is Sierra.
Oh my god,
It's basically her career.
I can't think of a better example.
Not basically.
Honestly,
It
can't
is.
think of a better. I can't think of a better example.
Thank
Like,
you for saying that. I think people have too a different definition of career. Career doesn't always mean like it's the only thing you do. Doesn't mean that it makes you the most money. Your career, I think, is just different for everybody. Like it could mean it's just something that you have dedicated your life to like doing. You know, it definitely doesn't pay always the way that a career would, like a consistent career. I always tell people you traded your You know,
9
you
to
trade your
5,
9 to
that's
5 for 24/7.
24/7.
Yep. I say it all the time, and I'm like, I laugh, and then I'm like, wait, I'm serious though. It like really feels like I will sleep at night, and either I'm thinking about, you know, dances for my students, I'm thinking about dances I'm performing, I'm thinking about classes I want to teach. Like it's just like 24/7, meaning it's always there. Whereas if you work somewhere else, where when you clock out, you can stop thinking about it.
That's true.
Like
That's
your
true.
job. And
Yeah.
I feel like you can turn that off.
Yeah, you don't
know?
have that luxury. You're just constantly
It does
surrounded
not turn
by it.
off.
Yeah.
It's a blessing because it's like sometimes I'll get a great idea at 3 a.m. and I like hop out of bed. Like one of the dances I'm doing at Dog Days of Summer, I had a dream about it.
Nice.
And
That's
I woke
awesome.
up and I had the song and I had the choreography in my head. I just had to figure it out, and I had the costumes and I had the people, and it was like so cool.
Dang, that's inspiration is so
And I guess you'll have to see
Yeah.
which one it is.
I feel like it just comes such a, I guess, in a mysterious way too. Sometimes, like you're driving in a car, and you're like, all of a sudden you hear a song, and you're like, oh shit, like
Yes.
I'm inspired right now, or like
Yes.
just any random shit.
Okay, what's crazy is last week I started to get this itch for the song that I'm doing for Dog Days.
Wow.
I didn't even
Before
know.
I asked you?
This was before you even asked me.
Well,
And I just wanted to. It was in my head just as like I just need to do it because it sounds like fun. Like let me have fun making something. I don't have to teach it. Maybe I just need to create something. And then a few days later, the following week, you know, she asked me, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what I mean?
think-
Like it lines up so.
I think your body was probably like intuitively like picking up on like something
Yeah,
that she
yeah.
was about to ask you, and then it just kind of like,
wow.
you know,
That's
get
so
ready.
crazy.
And I
It's
thought
coming.
about asking you at the beginning of this whole process versus, you know, we're like 5 weeks out. But
Yeah.
I, in my head, was like, nah, it's not the right time. He doesn't want to right now. And I think you would have said no at the time. So I maybe had to wait for the
Yeah, maybe,
intuition to
maybe.
do
Yeah, I
its
could
thing.
see that. I
Yeah,
could see
because
that.
maybe if you asked him like before he got that thing,
Yeah, I
that
might have
sign,
said-
you
I might have
probably
said
would have
no,
been
yeah.
like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, yeah.
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 That's so crazy.
And Brandon was thinking about it too. But I think we both were just like, nah, he doesn't express. Like, I don't want you to ever feel pressured to do something.
Right.
But
My-
it came to a point where we needed another person. And
The whole reason why I had to stop teaching and performing was because I started to feel like a job as opposed to me having fun with it again.
heard that.
So, you know, and me particularly, I've learned to understand that for me, my inspiration comes in waves, whether that's DJing, making music, writing, or dance. Like I've gotten to a point to where like I just don't want to force it anymore. Like if it's on, like let's do it. If it's off, then I guess I gotta go try and find
Yeah.
where that inspiration is at the moment. Maybe it's not in dance, maybe it's in
Yeah,
writing.
because I
or-
think you can also like, if there's nothing coming when it comes to like inspiration, you can just kind of chill.
Yeah.
Like that's your perfect time to just relax and just kind of wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've kind of been in the same boat too when it comes to making music, because I used to like force it. I was like, I have to do this every single day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like it feels like I'm not working on
Yeah.
my dreams.
Yeah.
But then like there are some days where I'm like sitting there for 2 hours trying to force it and nothing comes. And then some days it'd be like 15 minutes, half the song is done already.
Yeah.
Like it's
Right.
that kind of time.
I think also there's times where you force it and it's like times that you should force it. And then there's times where you force it and you're like, it's probably better if I don't. I'm going to be more productive today if I don't do that
yeah.
today. You know
It's
what
like
I mean?
an intuition.
Yeah, yeah,
You just
yeah.
gotta follow it. But before we get so far ahead, I want to hear about your past, Sierra. Like, how did this all start? Like, when did you start dancing? Because I don't think I've ever asked you.
A lot of people don't ask me that, I think.
I already know the story, but please.
You want to tell it?
No, not at all.
Okay. So I grew up in Las Vegas and I started dancing because my cousin was a competitive dancer when she was 8. And I was just at her house a lot. I was always going with her to the competitions. I was going with her to all of her things. Like I grew up watching the competitions that I choreograph for now, which is really cool. And so one day specifically, she had a bring your friend for free. And that's literally how I got my foot in the door to a dance studio.
To go to class?
It was my first class ever.
How old were you at this
8.
time? 8. Okay.
Yeah, so I remember her saying, oh, it's like bring a friend for free week or something. Do you want to come with me? Because I think, my parents, I never like tried to do dance on my own, but I just knew like I wasn't in any sports. I feel like they couldn't afford it at the time. I wasn't put into anything. So by the time I asked, they were able to do it. And I had like my one hip hop, it was a hip hop class. It was my first class ever. And I remember just being like, whoa, like where has this been?
Were you dancing before that?
Years? No.
Huh.
I didn't do anything before 8 years old.
Okay.
Was I dancing in the house? Yes. That's how I felt like I knew I wanted to do that. I remember watching the competitions and looking up there and just being like, I could do that. Like, I could do that. I want to do that. But not really know. It was just kind of this thing that my cousin did. I didn't know that there was an open door. I didn't know that I could go find a studio and do it too. She was doing it since she was like really little. So she doesn't remember a time where she wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Whereas I was so aware. At 8 years old, I went in that class and I was like, this is so fun. I love this. And then I signed up for my one hip hop class a week at 8 years old and started taking it a little more seriously when I was like 12, 13. And then kept going. Here I am.
I know.
At 21.
Oh, man.
But then, so when you were you went to the dance classes, right? Like weekly. Mm-hmm. Did you ever think about like, this is what I want to do? Or was that just like a hobby for fun for you?
I knew at 8 years old what I wanted to do. I remember having this awareness, and I tell my students, I tell the little kids that I teach, like there are some kids that say they want to do it. And I remember when I was younger, just people making sure I always had a backup plan and telling me that it's not a real job or it's not going to be supplemental or whatever the things that people would say. But I do remember having this awareness because before age 8, I wanted to be a teacher. Like I wanted to be a school teacher. I was like an only child. So I would like read books to my stuffed animals. I would like pretend I was teaching all the time. So I think I wanted to be a teacher. And then when I got introduced to like dance into my life, the older I got, I realized like I wanted to be a dance teacher because I was like, I love this more than I love school. And as I got older, I began to not love school at all. I loved school as a kid. And then as it got harder, of course, I stopped. And then I was like, I just want to go to the studio. Like I would wait.
Academics just isn't really for everybody.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
I didn't enjoy. I loved teaching, though. I was like, wow, I want to teach. I remember also, too, like 9, 10 years old, watching music videos, learning the choreography in the music videos.
Missy Elliott.
Rewinding it, pausing it, like seeing a pose that they're doing and being like, how did she do that? Like pushing my couches to the side when my parents went to work. I'd be like, oh, thank God. Like
I remember those
dancing in the living room, the step up video.
That's so interesting though, that like I'm so like interested when people find out that they want to do something at an early age, because I don't think I've had that. Like I don't think not until like probably like my late 20s when I figure out like, oh, this ain't it. Like when it comes to like working a regular 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Because before that, like I don't remember wanting to do, like knowing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've loved music. Like I've always been playing piano, and singing, but like I never really thought of doing it as a career. And I tried like in my early 20s, like I was making beats. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it. And then 6 months later, I'm just like, I haven't made it yet, so I'm done.
I haven't touched that beat in like 7 months.
Like I haven't made it. Like I'm going to college, and like I just went to school and be like, all right, I'm just gonna find a regular job and like live my life that way.
And I did that too, and I was very unhappy.
Yeah.
I also went to school because growing up, that's just what you do. That's just what people do.
That's
Like,
what's expected of you.
That's what was expected of me. And not in a sense where I was forced, but like I at 17 was like, okay, what next? I didn't at 17 think I was gonna like move to LA and chase dance like that. I was like, well, I need to get a backup plan because if this doesn't work, then blah blah blah. Because that's what you're conditioned to believe.
What was the backup plan?
Like marketing.
Marketing.
So like I have a marketing degree.
Okay.
It was called journalism before. It's called mass media now. They don't
I
call it journalism because journalism is kind of like newspaper.
Yeah.
I
But
could totally see Ciara as a teacher, like academic.
I am a teacher.
But as like,
I love to be a teacher. I really just did not enjoy school. And then once I started learning about the school system and just the corruption, I was just like, in dance class, I'm going to teach these kids to be spiritual beings,
Yeah.
even though that's not how I teach it. But I'm teaching them how to express themselves. I'm teaching them how to have confidence. I'm teaching them the best parts of just living versus school.
self-expression.
Yeah, self-expression.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And like school is just, it's just a box, right?
It
I
is.
feel like
Yeah,
school
it
is a
totally
box,
is.
and either you go to college and you go into another box, and then work a career and go into another box, and then that's just how I see it. Or you just like, I will always have my degree; it won't expire. If
Yeah.
both of my legs break and I can't dance, or if I suddenly want to go another route, I have another option. I saw college as a backup plan, and made sure I had that security, but as soon as I was done with college, I pursued dance again.
Yeah, because I didn't see it that way for a long time until I got out of college, worked this advertising job, and then after 3 years, I'm just like, this ain't it. Like, I don't know if I can't do this for the next 45 years.
I feel like you got to find a way to do both.
Yeah.
You know?
So after that, I just started pursuing like vlogging. Like I was just trying a lot of different things,
I
photography,
feel like you have a lot of hobbies.
video. I do have a lot of hobbies.
I wonder if, do the podcast people know that you're also this and that, or do you have like different groups of people that get
I
to
don't
go to you for
know.
different things?
I think like the newer people that I've met, like I don't think they know that I've done a lot of like vlogging and photography and
Yeah.
videos.
And you can sing and rap and make beats.
yeah.
And you make the t-shirts and
Yeah.
the blanket behind you. And I think you have to have multiple passions, because you definitely have to have one that makes you money. Mm-hmm. And then all the rest are your choice.
That's
But you
true.
have to have one that makes you money. I would be lying if I said I am thriving off of dance money.
Yeah.
But
But I feel like it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
I think you never know. It's gonna get there someday, you know?
The other thing too is money really isn't everything. There's
Yeah.
something about,
seriously,
think about your day-to-day process. There's something about having more moments of stuff that you enjoy than having moments of dread. You know what I mean? Like maybe I don't have a Mercedes Benz, but personally me, I have the freedom of choosing what time I go to the gym, what time I can work on a day-to-day basis, what time I eat, just the freedom of having the option to choose whenever, like, is so priceless, and it's so freeing up here, and for me in here too, like on a stress level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I feel like I gotta take a breather, like I could just take a breather. Not everyone can do that. Like
true.
some
Yeah.
people are forced to sit in a cubicle. I've been there, dude. Like I've
yeah.
had to answer phones all day and just sit in a cubicle. Was it good money, decent money? Yes, but
Yeah.
I hated every minute of having to speak to people who, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so there's
Yeah.
there's
Definitely.
a richness in other areas that isn't
Ooh, I love
quantifiable.
that. That's very
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
'cause
not
I think
everything is
it's like-
quantifiable.
Yes.
It's true when people say like money doesn't bring you happiness, but it does give you freedom to choose.
No.
Because like if you don't have money, like sometimes you're like forced to do things you don't want to do. So like once you get that money, you're like, all right, I can say no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, like I said, like money is not the ultimate goal.
Right.
Yeah.
It's ultimately like the freedom, the happiness,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
peace.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, I've worked at like bartending jobs before, and I was making, you know, you make hundreds of dollars a night as a bartender. People are always going to drink,
Yeah.
but like I think back to that version of myself too, and you're just, yes, you have a bunch of money, but you really don't, like you said, have a lot of freedom. Because I mean, yes, you have freedom because you have money, but you're on a schedule and there's blackout days and you have to request time off, and you can't just, like that was the pull that I hated. I'm like, shoot, my friends want me to go to something this weekend, but you have to put your request in 2 weeks before, or you can't do it. Or I want to leave early because I want to go see a show. I can't do that because you can't just leave work early. There's just like things with that too. And I was making way more money. Not way more, but more consistent. Definitely more consistent.
So how did you get started with teaching dance classes?
So I was moving here from Vegas to go to school at UNR. And I was like, well, while I'm in school, I have to do something dance related. I would like to be a dance teacher. I'm 18. That's when you're like an adult and you can teach. And so before I moved out here, I just messaged a whole bunch of studios and told them like my experience dancing in Vegas, and then, which wasn't a lot because I was 18. So it was like a dance team and dancing at a competitive studio and a couple like shows that I've done. And I sent them a resume, and they, what is it called? Told me like to teach a class as my like audition or interview. Because when you're, if you're going to teach class, the way to get that job is to teach a class.
Yeah. I feel
like
you
they could talk
you just
to
gotta
me
do
all
the
day.
job.
Yeah. They're like,
trying to
go
see
ahead.
if they
We
could-
want to see, do you know how to teach a class? And
Yeah.
it was 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. And if you can teach 4-year-olds, you can do anything. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah. So I just, was asked to teach a ballet class as my interview, and I was hired, and I've worked at Art in Motion for 13 years. Since I was 18 years old. Like, I've been a dance teacher since.
Damn.
Yeah. Same studio. Worked there since I moved to Reno. So, shout out Art in Motion.
Hey, for real though, shout out Art in Motion.
Yeah.
Dope studio.
That's pretty good though. I mean, for 13 years, like you're basically doing it for.
Yeah, I mean, the kids
Half your
too. A
life.
lot of the kids that just graduated, like I've had them since they were young, and now they're gone.
I remember
into the
meeting
world.
Sierra at a dance studio, so-
Everybody meets me at a dance studio. I met the love of my life at a dance
That's
studio.
true. I also met him.
Like everybody
I was his first
in my
class.
in my everyday is somewhat connected through dance, and all the other friends I have, or I met them at dance, or dance friends or other people are just like lifelong people that have been there forever. I feel like that's also the way that people meet each other, because everyone's so open with their emotions, and everyone's like,
Yeah, it naturally promotes that.
you want to
environment.
meat the people you're dancing next to.
Yeah.
So
How about you, Raph? What's your experience? I know you used to be a dance teacher too.
Oh yeah. My start was Michael Jackson VHS tapes. Like my mom would record these his live performances, and I'd be in the living room watching them, moonwalking,
wow.
Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. Like, I remember being in, what was that, second grade, third grade, where, we were choreographing stuff for like school performances, and there was like 5 of us, and we had like a little boy band vibe to us, and we would have like, that was my start. And then once I moved to the US, was that like around middle school? It was like a rush of what do you call it when you're put into a new place that you're not from?
Culture shock?
Yeah, culture shock.
Yeah.
Because like at the time I was like 12, 13. It was hyphy movement. It was the school I went to. There was a hallway every lunchtime. They would set up linoleum, and b-boys would battle, and they would have ciphers. And
Oh, that's pretty cool.
that was my first introduction. And then I could kind of dance, so they could, the people there could kind of see it. So this dude just showed me like how to do like hits and like popping. And then once he taught me that, I started learning about other styles, and I just studied. This was before YouTube was what it is now. This
You
was
had to
when
dig deep. for
yeah,
that
this was just
research.
people posting videos just to share it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I really started learning what you call funk styles. Like concepts like waving, tutting, gliding, dime stopping, anything I could learn. I was just like crumping, Chris Brown, Omar, everything. I just try to cramp it in my head, and I was kind of known for like battling before I started even doing like choreography and stuff. That's kind of where like when I moved to Reno, that's how I met most of my friends, was
I met Raph when he used to battle some other.
I feel like I just missed your battling era.
Sierra never got to see
I
me
missed
battle.
it. I
This
met
was
you in
crazy.
choreo era.
Yeah,
I
that's
took your
what's
class.
crazy. Like I never thought I would be doing choreography. My background was always like freestyle. But when I got to Reno, I was dancing. I was dancing at studios. Shout out to Madeline Feldman.
Oh yeah, I remember Maddie.
Maddie saw me freestyling at some dance studio, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to be in a show?" Mind you, I had never done choreo.
That's so cool.
All I did was freestyle and battle. But somehow she believed that I would be able to do it, and I can't thank you enough for that, Maddie. Thank you.
I love Maddie.
But basically, from that first show that I did, she was like, "Hey, by the way, you teach every Tuesday now at." You know what I mean? So she kind of threw me in the fire, but in like the best way, because I also allowed myself to be new, to learn and to learn what works and what doesn't, and after that, you just start meeting people that are also into dance and dance at other studios. I met Michelle, went to serve, met Sierra, Ray, you know what I mean? So it kind of just started in freestyle for sure, but once I was teaching and taking classes, like choreography classes, it was, my brain had like unlocked, and I was able to see them as yin and yang. Like freestyle and choreo is like the yin and yang of dance to me. So
Yeah, that's funny though, because like I feel like when you're just following that passion, like for you it was like freestyling and battling, and then somebody saw you, and then the opportunities just kind of opened doors for you.
Yeah.
Like when you just keep following that route, like something will eventually like pick up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably an example for like everybody too. I'm sure it's happened to you.
Yeah. Lots of times, I think.
Yeah.
It's when you least expect it too.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Because for you, you're probably like, I'm just battling people
That's
right now.
literally-
I wasn't even thinking about,
No,
teaching a
dude.
class or
Yeah.
performing.
I was just checking out dance studios in Reno. And,
Yeah.
they would have music playing. I'd just be moving. Saw Maddie, and she was like, huh. You know what I mean? So
That's so cool.
Was there ever a time for you guys where like dance wasn't giving enough of like that good feeling for you guys? Was there ever any moment for you like that?
Yeah, like what Raph was saying about being forced. Like forced, and not like somebody's making you, but forced as in you're expected every Monday, this is your class, every Tuesday, this is your class, whatever. And I just think recently, like within the last year, I've wanted to, teach, especially adults, like teach when I feel that spark of inspiration that you were talking about. Because for the last, however many years since I've really lived in Reno, I've had a class on a specific day of the week, since I was 18 years old. And it's like forced creativity when you have to come up with the coolest thing or what people expect of you. Or so I think in the past year, like it just wasn't it was feeling like a job, like you were saying. Like it is a job, but it's not a job that I want to ever get tired of. And so if I'm getting tired of it, I have to scale back and like wait for creativity instead of force it.
my
I'm
friend's
coming out of
cooking
that
right now.
I'm coming out of that because I feel like I went through that within the last year. Like this year has been new, and I feel like I'm walking my own path versus staying in boxes. So
Yeah, because sometimes it gets to that point where what you love becomes like a job.
yeah.
Because it was the same for me too when I did photography and video. Like I was doing so much. Like the beginning, like I was so excited. I just I just want to take
Yes.
photos. I just want to take videos for fun. And then once I started getting paid for it, like I obviously there's a little bit more pressure to
Yeah.
deliver, but then also it's just like it becomes a little repetitive
Yeah,
sometimes
for sure.
because you're doing the same thing over and over. And there's not much. I wouldn't say there's not much creativity, but it's a little bit more in the box.
Yeah.
It goes against the laws of art, or I don't want, maybe not laws, but like it goes against the very fiber of what art is sometimes. Being, this is this is gonna be one of your Instagram shorts, forced creativity. When she said forced creativity, I was like, oh dude, bars, like
Yeah.
that. Just, you know, listen to those words, forced creativity.
I feel like if it's forced, it's not creative.
It sounds uncomfortable even just saying that. You know what I mean?
It doesn't
Like,
feel like you can call it creativity if it's being forced.
exactly.
It almost feels like you, in order to be creative, you have to really fully dive into what's internal and not like what people are expecting of you or what sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like the TikTok era. We don't have to get into it, but like, you know, there is like these outlines now, and then people are dancing. I'm like, yay, people are dancing, but they're all dancing the same dance to the same song. Like, it's not really that aspect of it's not really creative versus people like, shoot, I'm really going through this. I want to put this into a dance.
Yeah.
It's like two different, you know, there's two different aspects of creativity. Like, you can be creative and just dance, you can make stuff up, but like if it doesn't have that intention, I don't think it's creative.
Because I think a lot of people are like cloud chasing too. Like, they just want to jump into whatever's trending. So they just kind of following of like
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of
whatever's
that.
cool or whatever's in right now, and everybody's doing the same thing.
Honestly, for even like me as a dancer, the moments where I was, or the times where I was like having an alternate or like a switch, you know how like every Monday it would either be you or me or Michelle, like having the rotation was so helpful for me because like I said, personally my inspiration comes in waves. So I enjoyed the times where I was in rotation with other teachers more than being on a schedule every Monday.
But you were also still in class
yeah.
getting inspired. It's
Right.
it's a give and take also.
Yeah.
You
But
got to be inspired by people too.
yeah, but you know, there came a time eventually where me teaching and me performing started to feel like forced creativity, because I'm always grateful for all the shows I've ever done, but like there are times where you're sitting there as an artist, as a dancer, and you're like, man, we were on this show for months on end and we're doing the same piece every weekend. We can't change a thing because lights are set up a certain way. People backstage have cues, like you can't just change a routine, you know what I mean? So you kind of are forced to stick to the same routine, and then it starts to, feel dull at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, because for me, it's just when I start doing that, we're just kind of when I have to get to that point where I'm like, oh, I need to be doing this consistently, because the key to success is being consistent. And then when you're doing it too much, it's just like, what's the balance?
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know what the right answer is. Like, I guess this is different for everybody, right?
That's the thing. It is different for everybody, and only that person knows,
Yeah.
So.
Because sometimes it could look like, oh, if you're taking a break, you're not doing anything. Do you ever feel that way when you're like when you're doing your self-care?
Yeah.
And then you feel guilty that you're not doing it?
Yeah, I feel that way a lot. But I think sometimes you have to take a break, because when you take those breaks, you could be inspired by, that's when the shock of inspiration actually, the real one will come, is when you're not focused, when you're not
Right.
looking for it.
That's when it'll like tickle or tap your shoulder, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's annoying because you're like, damn, I wanted to relax. I guess I'm about to go write a track. Or
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think consistency doesn't mean the same caliber every day. Consistency just means even if you're taking a 2-week break or a 2-month break or a 2-year break, that it's a break. It's not, you're just giving up on yourself.
Yeah. I
You
think
know?
you just have to remind yourself that it's just taking a break.
It's a break. It's a break until I want it to be over.
Because sometimes it feels like you're quitting, but you're not really.
You could take a 20-year break and come back to
That's
it.
true.
I mean, then it was not. I mean, y'all be taking breaks from your relationships out here and saying y'all been together 20 years. So why can't we do it?
the people. Well, yeah, that's
Just kidding. That's a different
true, though.
podcast.
Yeah.
Different topic. But yeah.
Not to harp on it too much, but there's also a difference between your consistency being intentional and your consistency being forced. I don't want to overuse that word, but you guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's that too. Because if your intention is always pure with your whatever that art is, whether it's music or, that's still being consistent, even if you are taking a break, because your real reasons behind it is to ultimately still make that experience better for you and whatever art that is in.
Right.
Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to dance, so what are you guys? I know you just won a competition.
Oh yeah,
First
shout out
place.
to Phase 5 though.
Phase 5.
Tell us about that experience. See,
Oh my god.
I'm so proud of you.
Changing.
I'm
because
so
you guys, that's dedication right there. You guys drove to Sacramento every
Every weekend.
Sunday.
yeah, that's dedication.
Yeah,
Every
to rehearse.
Sunday.
I know for me, I can speak for me. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm speaking for me. I was craving a change of pace for dance. I have been in this dance community since I was 18. So, like, a change of pace, meaning I know that, 2 hours away, 3 hours away in the Bay Area, there is decades of culture rooted
Yes.
in dance. Like, it's just a fact. It's just a fact.
No, for real.
That's where all the best, most cultured aspects of dance have come from. Any little dance y'all see on TikTok came from. And, like other dances in the Bay Area and Sacramento and all this stuff. So I've always known that, like, in order for me to change the pace, I feel like I have to leave this city. And I don't necessarily mean move. I just mean, like, get out, go take class somewhere else, get out, go just do other things in other places. And so my friend Alex and I, ever heard
Shout
of him?
outs,
Heard
Alex.
of him? You guys know?
Alex.
Alex is the reason that I was a part of this, but without all the details, it's just that we went to a class out there together. We went into a class and we, I believe that we were filmed by Concept at Sac Dance Lab, and Concept's a total legend. Gotta
Dude,
look it up.
if you would have
He's a
told me
legend.
a year ago that my friends would be dancing with Concept,
If you would have told me a year
right?
ago,
I just
me,
that just sounds like silly.
I am still in shock that somebody believed in me, but it's actually very similar to Raf's story, is that he just saw something in us maybe that we didn't see. Me, Alex, and Brandon, because we're the three that live in Reno. Everybody else lives in the Bay or Sac or all aspects of that. So he filmed us, I guess. He actually filmed Alex because Alex was called out in a group at Sac Dance Lab. And
Yeah, and I believe he had met Alex at some event
Maybe,
prior
yeah.
to that too.
I forgot. Alex is probably, when he watches this,
He will
gonna
be
like screaming.
He's
his
gonna
story.
be on the podcast. I'm sure
He'll explain later.
Yeah.
Long story short, Concept saw us in, saw something in us and just wanted to get back into, like choreo and crew and directing and just be more on the scene versus what he's doing now, which is he's still on the scene just in different ways. He wanted to be more, in the mix, and he just saw something in us and didn't let us doubt ourselves. And he told us, like, from day one that we were gonna win. And I was like, yeah, okay. But, like, I just couldn't see that, considering, all odds, not all odds against us, but we're rehearsing in a parking garage in Sacramento every Sunday. No mirrors. Won a competition, no mirrors.
Yay, dude.
No mirrors.
Garages.
Spatial
like-
awareness, energy, and
And what a beautiful
work.
way to learn dance without mirrors. That
It was
sounds
And that's the thing too. Is like
You don't
because
need
there's no
mirrors.
mirrors when you're on stage, so might as well get used to it.
What's
the
cool?
people, JERiCK.
What's cool is it makes you rely on feel, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah, and I think that I saw how capable I was of doing some of those things without just checking in the mirror for reassurance constantly.
Right.
And do I look like these people? Am
That's
I doing
such a
it right?
different
I'm
experience.
trusting solely in Concept to tell me. I'm like, he'll tell me if I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
There is somebody I fully trust to correct me, to give us details. And He's just such a good leader that I think that I needed to be led by somebody, because I am a leader in a lot of aspects out here. And I coach teams and I teach kids and I have the company, and like there's a lot of areas out here in Reno where I am in charge, or I'm the leader, or I'm the one they go to, or I'm choreographing. And so I just needed to like take a step back and
Become
go
a student
somewhere
again.
and be a student.
Yeah.
It's so good for you to be a student, even if you think you're the best person at what you do, like to go learn from somebody who's had more experience, not even better. You don't know who's better, but like had more experience than you, and just learn from them. It could change everything. And that experience changed how I see dance.
Yeah, because I remember we had this conversation when you told me that you feel a little stagnant when it comes to dancing.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity came and they asked you to join the crew, was your answer like automatically say yes, or were you like,
Ooh, I like this question.
like, do I want to do this? Do I like, is this something that I want to commit to?
I think it happened so fast. Alex called me, and if you know Alex, you know what kind of call this was.
Oh my God.
Like, I think Alex was just like, bro, Concept wants to be on his team. He picked you. He saw a video of you. He wants you, blah, 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 blah. We got to go to SAC every single Saturday. And I was like,
Sounds like Alex.
sounds good. Let's get it. Like, I feel like that's really how it happened. And I was like, well, I don't want to make excuses of why I can't go until I go there, until I see and feel and hear and speak to and be immersed in the experience. Then I'll decide if I could do this every week. And that very first day, I met everybody and met Concept and heard him speak to me and saw his vision. I was locked in.
So at least you were like, at least for this one day, I want to commit to this and see what happens after that. Was that?
Yeah. The first day we were like, okay, drive to SAC. It's one thing to drive to SAC once, but every weekend, the way we were doing, like that takes a lot of
Dedication.
energy. It's not just 2 hours. It's 2 hours to drive
And then
plus
2
the
hours.
rehearsal.
2 hours back.
2 hours back. It's a whole day.
Yeah.
And I was still having stuff after that. Sometimes if we'd go at night, I'd do stuff before that. It is like a sacrifice in time, but the repay was so much more.
Yeah. How does it feel now that you guys actually did win?
It feels crazy. I feel like that still didn't really happen because I've never competed on a hip hop crew. I've only done showcasing on a hip hop crew.
Just for context, I remember me and Sierra having conversations just as dancers, just as teachers of this very thing that she's doing now. So I am beyond words happy for her that she's
What, the
experienced.
competition?
Like she's been wanting to compete like on a hip hop crew. And
For a long
her
time.
and for her experience to be with Concept, like that's crazy, dude.
I know.
That's
And
crazy.
I've come to the realization, like I love Reno, but some things in your city you
Yes.
have to go out of the four walls to get.
Yeah.
And if anything, bring it back.
Right.
Bring back everything that I've learned, bring back whatever. Like
Yeah.
I am a teacher, so being taught is only going to make me
Yeah.
a better teacher and make my students better because I'm filtering but I have to go out. Like Concept was never going to come to Reno and like have an audition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honest, if we're just being honest, like this is not meant to sound disrespectful or put anybody down, but the dance scene in Reno just is not the dance scene that it is in California and
it's
Sacramento.
California.
That's what you were saying earlier,
yeah.
exactly. Like
It's just not. It's
yeah, the
not.
culture is just different.
It's culture. I've never heard people scream the way they screamed at that competition. I've never heard feedback from an audience the way the Bay Area shows out to appreciate what's happening on stage. There's like roars. Like people are roaring from their soul
there's
for
so
dance.
much dance in Bay Area
Yeah.
culture. Not even in competition, just the hyphy movement. There's
Yeah.
hip hop, the legends that came from California in dance. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, because I kind of noticed that with Reno too. Like, I'm not sure if I'm right or not, but I don't know if we have that culture here. Not just dance, but like
Yeah,
in
in
art
general.
in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in
Like,
art.
if I go to like a show with like DJs and music, like I'm not sure if I don't know if hype is the right word, but support maybe in like the community. Like I feel like there's not a lot of that here.
yeah.
I could be wrong. Like I don't really check out every single event that
I kind of see it as the way I see Reno is like it seems like it has little bits and pieces and fragments of
yeah.
other areas culture, and then it has little bits of and pieces of that everywhere, of everything.
What is like Reno culture? Like, you know what I mean? Like Reno is such a melting pot of
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Northern
saying.
California, and I mean, like
Lake
the people I know
Tahoe
from
and-
Reno, like
There's Vegas culture. There's Bay Area stuff
Yeah.
going on. There's, you know
I mean,
what
I
I
feel like
mean?
it's
there's
just all
Reno
over the
culture.
place, I feel.
Right.
yeah, it's. I
But
mean,
we
it's
also
just turned
have
into a melting pot.
Burning Man people. We also have Brodeo. So it's
feel like
like,
that's
it
Reno.
literally is a little bit of
It is.
everything.
I think
That's Reno
that's what it
culture.
is.
Hot
I think
August nights.
yeah,
it's
you
just
know?
like a mix of everything. Like there's not one
Exactly.
culture. It's just
little
there's
bits
so
of
many
everything.
like different types of people that live here.
Yeah.
I think that's why we don't have like a one solid thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of everybody,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because we have so many different events, and you
Yeah.
just kind of
Right.
don't know what's the in crowd, I
Yeah.
guess.
Different people,
I'm
different
surprised
energies.
there's not more Bay Area culture out here though, because we're so close.
We're so close, yeah.
Like, I mean, there is not really like that. Like, there's no hyphy
Yeah.
movement out here. There's
Right.
none of that type of thing out
yeah.
here.
Yeah. Not the way that it is in the actual Bay Area, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I wish.
Yeah. But so tell me what's your favorite part about teaching dance? Because I've seen you in classes before. I've taken a couple of your classes.
Yeah. How was it?
I like it. I mean, it was
Jared, how
difficult
was
for me,
it?
but that's not your fault. But it's I like that I noticed that even when we did a collaboration when you were teaching the Hills class, that you inspire people to just not just like focus on the dance, but actually focusing on their confidence and how they feel instead of just like, oh, you have to do this right.
Yeah. I think that is my favorite part, actually, that you said that. And I'm so happy that you could see that, even from the little classes you've seen. But I gained so much of my confidence through dancing alone. Like, growing up, you know, as a teenage girl in general in America, okay, it's just going to be so hard. And I feel like you're never going to, I mean, just anyone in general. I shouldn't say teenage girl, but like just growing up in general, like high school, for instance. What opportunities do you have to really be confident in high school? Like, it's
Right.
not like you just wake up one day and you feel confident. High school is one of those times where like you're discovering who you are, and you're aware of what you look like and stuff. And I just remember like dance was the only place that I felt very confident, because it's something where if you work really hard and you achieve these goals you set for yourself, then you are, you're doing it right, or whatever, like if it's like technique or something, or that feeling of like getting to a point where you really know a routine and then it goes on stage and everyone's cheering for you. Like, there's so many goals to achieve that it builds your confidence. So, if you have dance goals, you achieve those goals, you're hella confident because you just see how fast hard work can, happen. So like, I think teaching people, mostly women, like how to be confident in who they are is special, because I don't think that there's another aspect of life that just teaches you that unless you seek it out.
Yeah.
And kids too. Like,
Because I think you're teaching them more than just dance too.
Absolutely.
That's a life skill right there. Just
Yeah.
being confident with
yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the common saying, I was like, people don't remember like what's the saying? Where, like, you don't
people don't remember what you said, but
Yeah.
how you made them feel.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote that. I meant it.
But like
But it's
the
true.
same with like choreography too. Like
Yeah.
they come out of class, they already forget about it.
Yeah, because
then-
also you could be in a rehearsal and learn it and get it perfect, but we could be together 6 hours and you're still not confident in who you are.
Yeah.
You have to build confidence through a little bit at a time. And I love seeing like when something switches and they do feel confident, and I know that I was a part of that. It makes me feel good to express to people that like I was a very insecure person at one point in my life. And dance, I think once I started dancing with you guys, honestly, like with Raf and like in my 20s is when I made dance feel more confident. Because as a kid, you're still being compared. You're still going to competitions and being judged. But like in my adult life, when I started dancing like in heels and dancing as an adult and like doing adult hip hop classes. Like you came up to me, the way we met was him coming up to me and telling me how great I was at his dance. And even if it wasn't the choreography, it's whatever I decided to bring to that choreography. And like it's everybody is doing it right already.
Yeah.
The steps are just like this outline. You
I
know?
hope I didn't come off as a douchebag when I spoke to you. I was just excited to see.
No, he goes, who are you? Where are you from? I've never seen you before. And I was just like, I don't know. I just came here. That was my first time there. And Raph, after class, went out of his way. But that's another thing is there's so much energy in a dance studio. Like, think of how many times you've gone to like your local grocery store or the gym, and how many people are there every
Random
day that you
conversation
will
with somebody,
never
yeah.
talk to.
Yeah.
Dance studios, the teachers, the students talk to the teachers. They say thank you for class. The person next to me, I'm like, hey, you killed it in class. Hey, you killed it in class. What's your name? How long you been dancing? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so much energy.
You're
and then
naturally
it's-
curious, yeah.
it's like it's just so much confidence to be built, because if somebody tells you did good before you leave, you're glowing.
Yeah.
Somebody said that you did good. It's just,
Yeah.
I love that.
I just
It's my
want to throw
favorite
this
part.
in as a student, like as somebody who has taken her class, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but it kind of feels like she teaches empowerment before anything else. Like she teaches empowerment, but then she empowers you to show your individuality through her movement that she created.
I love that.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Spot on. Like that's what I try to do, and sometimes I do feel like it sounds very corny,
Yeah.
but that's like the truth.
But you don't know
That's,
what
like,
kind
what
of
I
difference
love
that makes
to
to
do.
a student
Yeah.
who isn't around that energy. Maybe, other studios, other environments they think differently or they feel different,
But why does it have to, like, when you said like, oh, sometimes it feels like it's corny, like why do we like go to that,
know,
you know what I mean?
I think because it's just like I don't know.
That's
know
a good
why.
question.
Like corny
But-
feels good.
You're right, and I am a cornball. Like I just think that sometimes, because sometimes there is a time and a place to like bust down, get the choreo right, stop playing around, stop talking. Like, no, you didn't do a good job. You fucked it up. Like, there is a place for that. It's just not in class.
Yeah.
It is not in class. Class is an experimental phase. Even like advanced classes, it's only advanced because of how in depth you want to get with the choreo. It's not in depth with there's not advanced confidence, beginner confidence.
That's true.
And
It's just
intermediate.
confidence. There's no
like,
level to it.
Yeah.
because if that was the case, it would be really scary in that beginning class. I've seen advanced dancers with the most amazing skill and no confidence, and I have seen beginners who are messing up the whole thing with a smile on their face, and they're like brushing their shoulders off. They're like, "Oh, I killed that."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
that's
did.
pretty much
If
how I
you
feel
believe
about
it,
class.
I believe it. But that's how you are. I've never seen you like hang your head down because you missed a
fuck
step.
it. I'm like, oh, I'm
You're
like a
just
step behind everybody. I'm like,
Okay.
fuck
That's you're changing the choreo. I like
exactly.
it.
I'm doing my thing.
Yeah,
I think
you
it
take
just sounds
ownership,
corny
yeah.
because it's like when some people do come and they just want to take class, and I'm like, everybody, you're doing a great job. Like there's some environments where I think like equal playing field isn't beneficial. I think sometimes rise up, try harder, but like most of my classes are what you said. Like I want you to feel good, because if you don't feel good, what is this choreo going to do for you? If you're in a heels class and you can't look yourself in the mirror, how are you going to do a whole 35-second dance? Like,
Yeah.
How about you, Raph? What's your favorite part about being a teacher?
Honestly, seeing other people, I guess, their interpretation of what I shared. Because essentially when you teach dance, that's what you're doing. You're sharing a piece that you created, but you get to see it, or particularly when you teach students, you get to see how other people see your movement, how other people interpret the way you move, your musicality. I think that in itself I'm just a naturally curious guy, and to witness my style on other people I think that's like one of the coolest things. So that would be my answer, I guess.
Hey, I like that answer.
yeah, I love that.
Because it's a good kind of different perspective too, because you have your own way of moving.
Yeah.
But then some people like move differently, but still doing the same choreography.
Yeah.
I'll give you a great example. Sierra is an awesome teacher for kids. I'm honestly like not really. I don't think I would recommend myself as a teacher for kids. First of all, the style and the way I dance is not kid friendly, and I don't mean that in like a vulgar way. I mean that in a technical way. Like the stuff I like to do is like concepts, techniques that like I don't want to say take years to master, but essentially those are the origins of how I move, or popping, waving, you know what I mean, tutting, isolations. I do a lot of isolations. That's kind of what I'm known for in the dance community. So it's not necessarily the most kid friendly because kids see that and they just see a bunch of movement. You see it differently. You see movement differently as an adult than you do as a kid.
Yeah.
But somebody like Sierra, she has more like bounce to her style, which would be more fun for kids to take.
Yeah, kids don't always appreciate.
I'm over there like doing hits and doing like intricate movement. Kids don't find that, especially.
Like, I'm tired. My arm hurts.
Right. They don't have the attention span. They don't have the attention span to even learn that. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely, I understand my lane for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I love the perspective of you guys' dance experiences. It's interesting as non-dancer.
Yeah.
To kind of hear the stories and like.
I don't think I ever shared my background in any of our podcasts. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's important to ask people their background. Like it opens up so many doors for conversation too. Like
because that thing is, especially like how they see you now. Like, oh, you already been dancing for so long. Like there's no, I guess, like if you're a beginner, like you can't relate to that because like, oh, you've already been dancing for like 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
But when you tell about your past and be like, oh, this is how I started, and then people are like, oh.
And I tell people a lot how much I used to teach myself too. Like my parents could afford one class a week. Dance is pretty expensive for kids.
Yeah.
And one class a week, it was usually hip hop, and so ballet and jazz and some contemporary. At first, when I couldn't be in all those classes, I taught myself, and I always tell people how much information there is that they can use without feeling like they have to be in a class. There's so many other ways to learn things, and like, I think it's important that people feel like, even talking to somebody who's like professional like me, like been doing it for 20 years, I could still tell you about the first few years that I was doing it. Even though I was a kid, the same path. You could still do that right now if you wanted to, you know?
That's also the beauty in freestyle is particularly how I learned dance was I was watching YouTube videos. Like it's not that I didn't need money. It was more accessible in other ways.
Yeah.
I know if you are a dancer, you might know who Poppin' John is. Like, this is before he is what he is now. Mm-hmm. When I was just watching him on YouTube, before YouTube was this crazy platform, I would just watch other people practice a particular technique, and I would try to learn that technique. And then once I felt like comfortable and I felt like I mastered it, I would move on to the next one. Mm-hmm. So I think because of that, it's so important for you young dancers to do both. Yeah. Learn the stuff that you can on your own, freestyle, crump, whatever that is, and then try to take classes. I don't want to say it's a downside, but it does cost money to take choreography classes, whereas a lot of street style hip hop, you could just watch on free resources and try to learn on your own. But I think it's so important to do both. It's so important to learn both.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys already kind of mentioned it, but like for the people that are watching that have thought about taking their first dance class or just like learning, regardless of how old they are, is there any advice that you would want to give to those people right now that are like, oh man, I'm already too late in the game?
First
like,
of all, call me.
Hey, privates with Sierra.
I will shut all that shit down. It is never too late.
Yeah.
I would say that there's always a door to be opened with anything that you want to do. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be something you do for XYZ amount of years. I think thinking about, to be honest, I do get a lot of people who are like, I'm scared, I'm really nervous, I want to, but. And I think, like I always say, that confidence is internal. Like, you have to heal that before you could do any of these things.
I like
So, like, it's not about the dance, it's about you not being confident with yourself. So I think everybody should, work on doing something that's really scary to them, because just that one switch of like, oh my God, that was terrifying, but I did it, versus I'm super scared to do it, is going to change how you just come at life. You're scared to take a dance class. You take the one class, you might hate it, but you overcame something, and now you have a little bit more confidence to go try something else and not be scared to fail.
I don't think mistake is the word, but I think one of the things that, or maybe a wrong approach, would be to be always so worried about being cool or looking cool. I think as long as you don't approach dance that way, you'll have a better experience, because I feel like, because of TikTok, because of social media, I think there's a natural expectation to look cool or feel cool.
Yeah.
And that's just not practical. You know what I mean? I think you should understand your intentions with dance. If you are genuinely wanting to learn, I think that is so important to view it in that light. It's just see it as a new skill you want to learn.
Yes.
Be open and be patient with yourself, because I think the best advice I ever heard, or one of the best advice as a dancer I've ever heard, was to dance the awkwardness away. That's literally how you go from a beginner to somebody who's comfortable in dance. Is you dance so much, whether you're practicing or taking classes, but you dance so much that you literally dance the awkwardness away. That it starts to feel natural when you move. Like, when you get to that point, it's gonna be the most beautiful experience that you will ever come across.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that advice, especially now too, because especially when people go to class and they just want to get a good video and make sure they get the choreography right. I feel like, I'm not saying that everybody does that, but for a lot of people, it's more important to get the good video than actually enjoying
Learning
the
it
dance
and learning
and just
it, yeah.
having fun learning.
Yeah.
But what are you guys' opinions on that when it comes to
Oh, you're right on.
just
You're
like
right on.
recording
That's-
yourself? I mean, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
We want cool videos too.
Yeah.
We all want
I
cool
try
videos.
very hard to get a cool video sometimes.
You know what's crazy? I personally, like, when I dance, especially at the studio, like, I forget to even record myself because I'm having so much fun. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, damn, I didn't get any video. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I
But-
think, like, when it comes to recording yourself, I grew up using it as a training tool. That's what recording was as a kid. We were not allowed to film the combo because we thought we looked cool in the combo.
Right.
Like, that
Right.
was not a thing. My teacher I've never had a teacher say, go get your phones, or get your phones if you want to record. It was more so we would ask if we can record. And it also, to my students now, it wasn't to remember it. I remembered it already. We would use it as a training tool to watch ourselves and be able to give ourselves feedback. Because, like, when you're recording yourself, and also to see your progress. Like, I have a lot of people that have old videos and then they go watch those videos after, a year or two of dancing, and it's nice to see progress. The same
growth,
way you
yeah.
take progress pictures when you're at the gym. It's nice to record yourself dancing and then watch yourself dancing 2 years later. You can really see it that way, because you're not going to feel the growth. You're going to see
Yeah,
it. You're not
that's
going to
true.
feel it.
Not-
You're
not
always
in
gonna
real
think-
time.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
You're always
yeah.
going to think you're not as good. You're always going to think, and I always tell people to go back and look. But when it comes to just recording, just to record, that's fine. My main thing is to, one, always give the choreographers credit,
Oh, yeah, that too.
because that's a whole thing that happens a lot that I
That's true.
see, is people
Yeah.
just posting videos of themselves. And anyways,
Yeah.
but more so, it's a collaborative effort. For you to look like that, a teacher had to teach you how to
Exactly.
dance. Like, a teacher had to give you that choreo.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to posting, just like etiquette of Also making sure that people behind you want to be in a video too. It's very selfish to film yourself and somebody's back there just trying to really retain and enjoy and be present, and now there's a video of them posted and maybe they messed up or maybe they weren't ready to have that video posted. That's like my number one thing with
and I
videoing.
think, like, that's the thing too, is once the camera's on, there's an extra pressure, because I do feel that sometimes when it's being recorded, like it feels like you're not as free. Because there's extra pressure. So
And
I do feel that for like other
compared.
people that are like, oh, I don't really want to get recorded, but everybody's recording in class. So
You feel like
get
you
that.
have to. I think it's a great way to boost your confidence too, because like watch yourself dance, be able to look at yourself and
See the growth.
I think it's like the clout recording is going to be a thing regardless. Just if someone looks hot, they want to film it, but
yeah.
Record yourself for the right intentions. I agree with that. Please,
do whatever you
I hope that if you want to go into dance, I hope that it's because you genuinely want to grow within yourself and you enjoy it as an art form before all the other stuff like clout and all that.
Yes, we're just in the TikTok era, and that's just is what
It's
it
social
is.
media.
It's
just
social media. It's instant
that's
gratification.
Honestly, with any passion, not even just dance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's with everything. But yeah, so damn, that's pretty much the podcast. Like before we end it, like I wanna give you guys a chance to promote whatever you guys got going on.
My Cash App is
Your Venmo,
my
your
Venmo.
Zelle.
JERiCK's gonna add it
Click
to
the
the
link,
screen
click the
right
link.
here. I already mentioned Dog Days of Summer, August 17th. It's going to be a really amazing event. It's at the Pioneer Center. It is a fundraiser for the SPCA of Northern Nevada. And so like all the proceeds of just, they have like, there's other proceeds. There's like food trucks. There's tons of stuff there. But it's like a night of bunch of different dance, bunch of different art. It's so beautiful. It's so fun. That's really it. I don't have anything to promote. You got promotions?
Oh no, I'm very honored to even
Me too.
be asked to be part of Dog Days. So
Yes.
that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just along for the ride, and the thing I'm most excited about, other than obviously getting back on stage and performing, but just getting to be at an event with my friends and sharing the stage, for lack of a better word, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be
Also, shout outs to JERiCK for having us on the podcast.
Yes, this is super fun.
Well, thanks for coming. I
Yeah,
mean,
thank you.
I know we've been talking about this for a long time.
This was on my bucket list for my life. Like, I have achieved something so
Sierra
great.
actually said it's a dream for me
It's
to
a
be on a
dream,
podcast. So
an
I'm like
honor.
making dreams come true right now.
I think podcasts are really cool because sometimes you just want to hear people having a conversation.
Yeah.
And this felt very natural to like talk to you guys about. And I think me and Raph are so passionate about like dance as an art. Like you said that so many times that I was like, oh, you want me to talk about that? Psh, of course.
Yeah, say less.
Like
yeah.
I could talk for hours about the same thing.
Yeah. I definitely want you guys to come back for sure.
Hell yeah.
And then we're gonna have different conversations about other stuff too. So
Hell yeah.
it's not
What do
just
the
gonna
people
be.
want?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tell us what you guys
Yeah,
want.
comment down below what topics you guys want to hear on the podcast, because I'm always curious, and
It's
because
just-
like sometimes you run out of topics to like I don't
Yeah.
know what to talk about on like
I know
each
it is
episode.
helpful.
It's
What do people-
it's cool to hear other people's viewpoints too, just in general. So.
Yeah.
Next time, me, JERiCK, and Raph are gonna have a battle. So we'll dance battle. You can vote for your favorite.
Oh man.
Just kidding.
Well, yeah, I think that's it. Anything else? Last words?
I don't have
I
one.
don't have
Alright,
any.
well.
Yeah.
You put me on the spot, dude.
Yeah. Well, I put myself on the spot sometimes.
Do you have one?
Go do something that scares you. Let's all have
Ooh, I
a
like that.
last
Ooh, I
note.
like
I
that.
say go do something that scares you because I've been doing a lot of things that scare me lately, and it's helping me grow a lot.
Okay.
And it scare you or it makes you nervous, just go do it and tell me that you did it, and I want to hear all about it.
Okay, I like that. For mine, I'm gonna say, whatever that thing is that you haven't done in a while that you genuinely enjoy, go do that.
Damn, I was gonna say that.
Word
Ugh.
for word. That's what you was gonna say.
Now I'm on the spot.
Um,
Ah, shit.
you got a lot.
No tip your bartender or nothing. Just kidding.
Damn, I'm really like lost for words right now.
Took his breath away.
Yeah. You guys took all the good advice.
That's all right.
Yeah, just whatever your passion is right now, just do it.
Just do it.
I know it's exactly the same words that you guys just said, but
Amplified.
Yeah.
it's so important to just follow your passion.
Stuff you
Because
enjoy.
it's the
Yeah.
thing that's gonna be the thing that makes you happy. And you'll never know. That might be the thing that's gonna be your next career. So yeah, do that.
Do that.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Next week.
Bye.